with the steady growth of the gaming sector in Ghana, there has been a surge in public sentiment over challenges associated with gaming-related harm and mental health. When I speak of gaming, you understand, right? With the month of May being Purple Month, which is Mental Health Month, the Gaming Commission of Ghana and its stakeholders are throwing the light on the linkages between mental wellness and gaming addiction. How do we resolve them? How do we ensure that we're mentally stable on the back of these? Joining us for a conversation, we have Abena Adomensa, Deputy Director, Licensing and Registration at the Gaming Commission of Ghana. We have Dr. Kobe Boateng, President, Ghana Association of Sports Betting Operators. And we also have Dr. Ralph Owusu, psychiatrist at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. All of them join us for a conversation. Abena, should I say doc and doc? Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me just start off with how important mental health is to everything that we're doing, because obviously if it weren't that crucial, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So I'll come to each one of you for quick thoughts. Mental health. I'll start with you, Abena.
Yeah, thank you very much. So for the Gaming Commission and for the industry, we take mental health very seriously. We understand that gambling comes with certain vices and addiction can easily creep in.
Okay.
And so as it's Purple Month, we believe it's an opportunity for us to throw light on the dangers of gambling addiction, and also to give hope that there's also tools that one can employ to mitigate some of these addictions that come with gambling. Yeah.
Okay. And for you, Doc, just quick thoughts?
Yeah, we as operators are aware of the gambling addiction which has come across the whole gaming as a whole. And we believe that this particular month that the mental health has taken that opportunity to highlight the issues. We also want to be part so that we throw a little bit of light onto how we can avoid and bring in responsible gaming.
Dr. Owusu, for you, this is right down your alley, right?
Exactly. I believe that mental health is the pinnacle of everything health, because without mental health, your biological or physical health cannot function. You know, so for somebody with strong mental health, you might be disabled physically, but you might be able to achieve more than other people, and the opposite also holds.
Right. Okay, so interesting first thoughts you've left us with, but let's look at the distinction. Is there any distinction between gaming and gambling, Abena?
So gaming and gambling, I'll say they are the same. That is, they follow three principles. And that is, first of all, hazarding a stake. Secondly, on an outcome that is unknown with an expectation of winning. But if you're talking about gambling industry, then that encompasses all the players that come together to make the industry as a whole. So we're talking about manufacturers, we're talking about the operators, we're talking about fintech, we're talking about...
Wow, even fintech?
Yeah, yes, fintech is part, yes. So it's broader when it comes to the industry. It's a number of players coming together to form the industry. So basically gambling, gaming, game of chance, they all mean the same, because they've all followed three principles.
Some would say then even love.
Yeah, love is also a gamble.
It's a gamble, big
I'm
gamble.
telling
game
you.
of chance. Charlie, someone can shatter. You know, a lot of the mental health issues, some of them are also related
I know,
to
I know.
relationships, whether toxic or otherwise.
Exactly. So they are all, life is a game of chance. So
Crossing the streets, guys, is a game of chance.
I'm telling you, we all need mental health awareness.
But just a quick follow-up before I go to the gentleman. Why then Purple Month, mental health awareness, this drive?
So the commission has a duty to the public. We are a regulator, and that includes ensuring that gaming is done responsibly. And so we thought it wise to come together with the Mental Health Authority as they are celebrating the month of mental health awareness, to also bring that awareness of gambling addiction to the populace, to come to understand that gambling is not a bad thing if it is done responsibly, and that there are also tools that one can employ or use to make gambling exciting. So as people now, gambling is quite popular because of the use of smartphones, ease of accessing internet and all that. And so it's an opportunity for us to also give the other side of gambling that many people may ignore.
Let me come to you, Doc, on this, because I want us to get into the psychology of it. When does gaming cease to be entertainment and start becoming an addiction? Because often is the fine line. Where you cross the line, no one knows.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think to summarize, it's when somebody on an individual loses control of their gambling. You know, when the person feels like this is a problem, I would like to stop, but they cannot stop. They go above and beyond to try and stop, but they still cannot stop. So in that case, it looks as if the difference between like gambling, gaming, and use of some substances is not a lot when it comes to it being a disorder. And the hallmark is just that loss of control, and then that very unpleasant feeling they get when they do not gamble. Occasionally, they will be there thinking...
It's akin to when you have substance...
Exactly.
Because then you know it's a problem, but you can't stop.
Yes. Wow. So it is known that certain people have a predisposition to be addicted to substances, including gaming and gambling, as opposed to other people.
I see. And that's why, for me, growing up, I told myself that any of these things, I don't even want to find out. Whether it's alcohol or I don't want to find out, so I don't even go there because of those predispositions.
Exactly.
So, I mean, in my family, I wouldn't say there's any such, but you never know. It's individual, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
But Doc, Dr. Boateng, what would you call responsible gaming?
You see, one thing I think we have to start with is that when we come into the gaming industry, we perceive it as an entertainment, right? It's only when sometimes, somewhere along the line, people perceive it to be an investment, right? And then...
In fact, the boys on the street, they call themselves investors. I'm sure you've come across.
Yes, of course.
They are investors.
Yes, they are investors.
They are invested in this.
This is where the danger comes in. And this is where we come in and try to define and try to outline what responsible gaming is all about. Coming to the edge of it and realizing that there comes to a limit where you realize that, look, probably I'm putting in too much. Probably I'm spending too much time in here. You understand? As against other places. And when do I stop? How do I manage myself moving forward? So responsible gaming is very, very, very important and accrued to the industry. And that is why we are here today, joining up with mental health in this Purple Month to outline the measures and the tools that comes out with responsible gaming.
Dr. Uso, I think you've already given us some of the signs and symptoms. Right?
Exactly.
Well, I don't know whether there are any others you want to add, but I want to ask, is it a medical condition? Is it classified?
Yes, it is. So for psychiatrists, we have diagnostic manuals. And for the two major manuals, it is gaming disorder, gambling disorder. So even people that compulsively play video games without any reward or physical reward may fit under this kind of criteria. And we have predisposition to all the conditions, including addictions to other substances.
As a commission, Abena, what policies are in place to prevent gaming-related harm to individuals? And I'm sure especially the target would be younger individuals who may not have so much control over themselves. And we've also been told that there are some who are even below 18 who engage in gambling sometimes.
Oh, well. Thank you for that question. So
I like the smile that came on your face when I said that.
So far, the Commission has instituted certain measures, and one of them includes the verification of identities, KYC, for all operators to ensure that before onboarding every player, they go through some form of verification process to ensure that they are at that legal age of 18 where they can gamble. We've also instituted advertising policies, we call them the guidelines, to kind of promote ethical advertisement so that operators do not take that advantage to promise, what should I call it, outcomes or...
Exorbitant returns.
Exactly. And promoting some sort of lifestyle that is not achievable. And so with some of these things and ensuring that the operators as well also have these responsible gaming measures in place, for instance, certain limits, providing self-exclusion, certain limits on your deposits and withdrawals. All of these tools are available for players to use to enable them play responsibly and also place some check on themselves. You should make an assessment of yourself to know what you can take and what you cannot take. So before you go onto any site to gamble, make sure they have all these responsible gaming tools available for you to enable you bet responsibly.
In any such instances, Dr. Boateng, there must be some safe spaces, rails to hem you in. Even on a road, you would have the rail so that in case there's some veering off, you don't fall off a cliff. She's already mentioned some of them. Are there any others you'd like to mention?
Yeah,
and then add corporate responsibility and the role it plays in all of that.
Right. I mean, what we have in place is that we have this customer tracking system.
Customer tracking system?
Yeah, customer. See, our system is built that we can see what every player does. Right?
Really?
Oh, yeah. You can track it to the player, to the village, to everything. Right. So with all these tools that we have in hand, we use that to measure the deposits. You see, but we see some of these things, you have to talk to the player. That look, we have noticed this kind of pattern within your playing. So your deposits and everything, we are going to limit it. Your time of playing, we are also going to limit it up, right? We also have that no credit policy, right? So that you can say that I'm borrowing to, within the system to place bet. We also ensure that because of the KRC, as Abena has, we avoid youngsters, coming into play, right? We also have these activations. Sometimes they call him themselves, after we've spoken to them, they call to say that, look, I think I'm playing too much and we feel that we need to be excluded from the game, right? Which we also do that sometimes with conjunction with the Gaming Commission. We also have in the system, which a lot of us are trying to do, the association is helping to come around it, so that you can deactivate yourself from the system, and say that, look, now I'm not going to be playing for a particular length of time. We are also moving forward. The association is going to share data of people that have been calling in and saying that they want to be excluded. So that it doesn't only happen with one particular company, but we share that data and we make sure through the Gaming Commission that we enforce that, right? One of the things which has come to mind is that also, which is going to be suggested to the Gaming Commission, is the influencers that have now coming. They are not being regulated. And I think it's high time that for you can't be influencer, fine, but as long as you are cropping it into the gaming side, you have to have a kind of certification from the Gaming Commission. Are you
speaking of adverts, for example?
Adverts, in advertisement, we do seek, what do we call it, certification from the Gaming Commission. Right. But the influencers, don't have any form of...
That's a gray area.
That's a gray area. So this is where we are also trying to work upon.
Okay, so Doc, before we take our call to action and cap off the conversation, just a quick one. Are there support systems in place for people who have become addicted to gaming? Counseling, therapy, what exists?
Yes, so all the services exist. We have Gamblers Anonymous and we have...
you have Gamblers Anonymous?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the mental authority through the three main hospitals and then the teaching hospitals have rehabilitation services. As part of this,
Any of the teaching hospitals?
Yes.
So Tamale, Kolebu...
Yes. Konfanoche, and UHAS as well. Mental Health Authority has 3 hospitals: Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Pantine Hospital, and then Ankafo in the Central Region. Okay. So as part of the rehabilitation treatment, we have inpatient rehabilitation treatment, which is usually for drugs and alcohol, but then can work for gambling and compulsive disorders like gaming and gambling disorder. And then as part of that, you have Gamblers Anonymous, where you find like-minded people who have beaten their addictions, who help you stay sober. It's like a whole community of people that are like-minded and have been able to beat this addiction.
Quick one. People would often talk about accessibility. The Mental Health Authority, until a few years ago, we didn't even have. So it's a good step.
Yes.
But people would still talk about accessibility. People don't know that these exist. And even where they do, factors like, am I going to pay for it? Is it gratis? At what cost? All of that makes it inhibitive.
Yes.
Tell us what the facts are.
So the truth is, at this point in time, it's out of pocket for most rehabilitation services because it requires a lot of staff that are highly trained, psychiatrists, addiction counselors, and all of that. And I guess to get to a point where it will be subsidized, we will have to lobby through the government and then the appropriate channels so that just like national health insurance came to be, we might have some financial support for that. But currently it is out of pocket.
All right. So
this is where I want to chip in. This is where the Ghana Sports Betting Association is actually in conversation with the Gaming Commission. As part of our corporate social responsibility, we are trying to set up something like that, which would be
perfect.
Yeah, free for anyone that needs the need.
Okay.
Because it's very, very important for our industry.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I want us to do this in some 20 seconds each. Right. What will be your call to action? What are your recommendations? I'll start with you, Abner.
Okay. So our call to action will be the fact that players should know themselves and know the tools that are available to them when it comes to gambling. To be able to set those
know
limits.
thyself.
Exactly. You should know yourself. You cannot gamble more than you have. You should know that this is the amount I have, and that is all I'm doing. Discipline.
Yeah, I will also say that this is a situation where a lot of we operators also have to come in and make sure that on our websites and everything, we actually bring in the symptoms, that really indicates that you are bordering onto the addiction so that people will notice it and then, seek help, which now we are going to make sure that it's affordable for everybody free of charge to ask for.
So I would say that, thank you to the Gaming Commission and the Sports Betting Association of Ghana. I think we are moving a step in the right direction. I think children and younger people, adolescents, should be protected because their brains are not fully developed. Sure. And that is where a lot of activism and then your checks and balances should be focused, because if a lot of people get these disorders because their minds are not fully developed before they get into them. So in addition to that, I think the activism and then letting everybody know where the channels are. If you have a problem, you can seek help and then we can help you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. What you said, we really have to go.
Oh, okay.
But you go ahead.
No, what I wanted to add on is that there's a problem that parents are not aware that their youngest children are using their phones. So when I have this opportunity, I want to tell parents...
As in using the parents' phone?
Yes. You see, when they say, send Momo to this one, giving their PIN numbers, they are not aware that their children have taken that and they use that in the betting. So
very true.
It's very important that parents become aware of that.
All right. So as part of this Mental Health Awareness Month, May gaming, there's a webinar on mental wellness and gaming addiction. The theme is promoting responsible gaming, exploring the linkage between mental wellness and gaming addiction. It's slated for Thursday, the 15th of this month at 1 p.m. prompt. And there's also the one on the 7th of May, the 15th of May, and the 30th of May. We've shown you the slides already, so be an active participant. Those who joined the conversation, Ms. Abena Ado Mensah, I nearly butchered your name. Ms. Abena Ado Mensah, Deputy Director, Licensing and Registration at the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Then Dr. Kobe Boateng, President, Ghana Association of Sports Betting Operators. And then Dr. Ralph Owusu, Psychiatrist at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. Once more, thank you very much for joining the conversation.
Thank you.
But coming up...